Welcome to the Green Room, where we help you solve your independent musician problems so you can be a more successful artist. And today we're going to talk about EPKs and cold booking. Roll that intro. To get started, we need to really understand one really basic premise, okay? And a lot of artists really mess this up, even guys that I've been watching grow a following for several years. This happens in Colorado, Austin, Texas, everywhere that I've done work, New York, California. And the basic thing that you need to wrap your head around when you're trying to book shows is that you're approaching a really busy person. You're approaching a business owner of some sort, whether they there's a couple different types of talent buyers, right? You have a venue owner. Of course, sometimes the venue owners, especially at those smaller locations, they're going to do their own booking and their own show event management, okay? A lot of times if you go to a mid-level to upper level venue and you're trying to get on stage there, they're going to have an in-house talent buyer, all right? They're going to do business about the same way, but it's important to know the difference. Of course, there's also third-party promoters. So a lot of times you'll work with somebody like myself who throws a lot of one-off shows, a lot of daytime into nighttime mini music festivals, and that's a different type of talent buyer, but essentially the process to booking shows with that person is going to be about the same. And then, of course, another way to book shows would be through fellow artists. So basically talking to another person, another band, another DJ, another hip-hop musician who's already got a show booked with an in-house talent buyer, but they're looking for extra artists to fill up their lineup for that event. So generally, when we're talking about booking with somebody new, you're going to be talking about one of those four types of talent buyers. Okay, and so the majority of this video is going to be based around building an effective EPK so that way you have a streamlined, repeatable, and consistent process for booking cold contacts, okay? And what an EPK essentially is it's a location where you put all of the necessary information for somebody to make a decision on whether they want to hire you as an artist at their venue or pop-up location, so that way they can research you and make a hiring decision really quickly. E just stands for electronic, meaning that you can just distribute this through email or text or whatever. As a talent buyer myself, I look at a couple specific things to decide whether I want to work with somebody. And this is what I've seen every time I've done outreach for a band that I've been managing. This is what they look at. One of three things: communication, presentation, and efficiency. All right. The first thing is channels. Obviously, there's a lot of ways to reach out to people. So you've got walk-in. You could walk into a venue or walk up to the person if they've got a consistent location where they throw shows. You've got phone calls, texting once you've got their phone number, and then you could also email, DM through Instagram, or message somebody on Facebook Messenger. Generally, you're going to want to start with research because the thing is you got to understand you're asking somebody to consider you who doesn't know you, respect you, or like you, at least not yet. And when you're reaching out to somebody you don't really know that well, and if that's the turf that you're playing on, you're going to want to make sure you do your research and reach out to them on the channel that they prefer. Usually it's as simple as a Google search. So if it's an actual music venue or a bar, you can just go to their website and they'll have a little tab that'll say this is how, for bookings, for artist bookings, for musicians, whatever, contact this person at blah 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 gmail.com. That's going to be start there and work in the way that they requested. If it's not working, I always fall back after repeated messages through their preferred channels. If that's not working, then I'm going to fall back on walk-ins because if they're not responding but they know about you, when you walk in, you're going to get a way better outcome than if you just kind of walk in and they've never heard of you or seen anything about you before. Totally changes the game, and you don't want to walk in and just try to sell yourself or convince somebody that they should work with you without any background information. It just doesn't generally go that well. So start with communication through the way that they ask, and if that's not working, then go in in person at the venue and try to talk to the person that you've been emailing and trying to send messages to. We've got communication. Let's cover presentation. So how should your EPK look? Here's the thing. This is not the place to be artistic. What I mean is sometimes complicated is good when you're making art. Sometimes simplicity goes a million yards. You got to completely change the way that you're thinking. Remember, the whole premise here is you're working to close a business deal, and you're dealing with somebody who sees a lot of different EPKs throughout any given week. And so you need to make sure that the EPK and the way that you built it is probably different than the way that somebody else built theirs. Okay, so you need to make sure that it's simple, it's clear, it's easy to navigate, right? So like when you send someone an EPK and they're trying to read through the information that's on it, they're trying to consume the content that you've sent their way, you want to make sure that it's quick, because you're dealing with a business owner who's really busy, and they need to be able to consume that information fast. Otherwise, they're just going to give up. If it's too hard to understand who you are and what you're about, they're not going to even finish going through all your info. So the best way to do that, I think, is to just make an EPK or an artist account at maverickmusic.com. That's why that's the initial reason we built the platform in the first place. So you can go there and it's free. So a lot of people lean back on a website. You could do that, but again, the issue with a website is generally people put way too much text. Because you've got so much real estate with a website, people overuse it, and then it's too much. They have too much content on there for people to digest, and the problem with the website is it's usually either built for talent buyers to pretend to be an EPK, or it's built for fans, and you don't want to use the same product, the same online presence for both uses, because a website that's built for your fans to see, it should have more art, it should have more explanation of who you guys are, a lengthy bio and where you came from and all this stuff, so people can really get behind your brand and understand what it is. Whereas a venue, really, a talent buyer, any type of talent buyer, really is only going to care about a couple things. Where are you from? Can you pull a local draw? And if so, how many people does that mean? How many people can you bring into their show to spend money at the bar top? And then they want to know, what's the best way to contact you if they want to hire you, and what do you sound like? Okay, so a couple specific things that are huge for presentation, outside of obviously just being simple and clear and easy to navigate. You need it to be fact-based, not bio-based. So like, don't try to, like, you really shouldn't have almost any text, because they're going to see enough text on your Facebook and your Instagram. Reading takes time, and they don't want to read. They just want to consume quickly. So pictures, videos, and links to the other places online where you're spending a lot of your time and already creating content. You want them to be able to see all that content that you've created and spent time building on websites like Facebook and Instagram. You need one singular location, so they're not jumping around from one website to another, opening 9 browsers, trying to check out all of your stuff. That's just insane. You can't expect that from somebody who doesn't know you. So one singular location for all of your content that you want them to see to consider you to hire you is going to be key. Consistency in social media posts is going to be important. When they go to your Facebook and Instagram, are they seeing that you post the same amount every week? Are they seeing any sort of consistency around how many people comment on your posts, or how many people like your posts? Those numbers will matter a little bit because it shows how much fan engagement you have, which gives them a premise to work off of, regarding, like, it'll give them a benchmark, like how many people can this band really bring in when we book them. And then text formatting, try to keep things consistent around like the actual font that you're using, the colors that you're using. If you use too much, it's going to look like a circus, right? So like if it's your website, it's going to look like an absolute circus if you've got 9 different colors running through from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. If you're using more than one page as an EPK on a website, you're missing the boat. Again, it needs to all be easily digestible, all in one spot, quick to understand who you guys are. Okay, so as far as efficiency is concerned, there's a couple points to consider. One, it on your EPK or your website landing page, EPK page, whatever you want to call that, whatever link that you would text somebody for them to like click on it and then it goes to a location on the internet somewhere, that it should be an EPK. That location needs to have one-click navigations to all of your other online real estate. So it needs to be a one-button click to get to your Facebook, a one-button click to get to your Instagram, one-button click to get to your SoundCloud, Bandcamp, whatever else. Okay. If you're asking someone to do more work than that to check out what you have for them, when you've never worked with them before, it's not going to happen. So don't reduce the amount of workload, reduce the amount of time that it takes for somebody to look into what you've been up to. Okay. And what you sound like, and for you to prove yourself, really. You want, when you're sending messages, whether it be text, email, Instagram DM, it doesn't matter what the real estate is, the channel that you're using. You need to send really short messages with a clear motive of what you want from them, and then a link, one singular link, to the place where they can go to make a decision based on your motive. Okay. For instance, don't send a big long message saying, "Hey, I love your venue. I've been there. I've been coming through, and I've seen all these bands perform. And la 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 la. I want to perform with you guys." That's way too much. Much simpler to just let your art and what you've been doing online. If you don't have a lot of show history, let what you've been doing to get ready for shows. Let that art speak for itself, and that art should be on your Facebook, your Instagram, whatever. And those posts are going to be easily accessible from your EPK. So you send a message, it's really short, saying, "Hey, I'm Tim with We Are William," if that's the case, and then you just say, "I'd love to perform at your venue. I think we're a really good fit for the type of sound that you guys have. Here's a link to check us out." Boom. Okay, that's the kind of communication it needs to be. Really short and sweet. Remember, they're busy people. Give the preferred channels that you want people to reach out to you at. So if it's phone, give them a phone number. Give them a singular phone number, not two phone numbers. You don't want to have more than one point of contact between you and the talent buyer, because then things get lost in translation. If they're reaching out to two band members, they'll get confused on who they're talking to. It's just a really bad way to go. So give them one phone number, one email address, so on and so forth. You want to make sure that your responses are timely, and this is something, oh my god, this is something that I cannot get over. Artists having full voicemail inboxes, I can't tell you how frustrating it is when I booked somebody and I can't reach them. They don't answer their phone because they're either too busy with their day job, or they just don't like to have their phone on them. I respect all that. That's great. But if I can't leave you a voicemail because you're not willing to answer the phone, I'm not going to work with you. It's that simple. And I know I'm not the only talent buyer who feels that way. So clear your inbox on your voicemail. Okay. And then update your Gmail and phone notifications so you're not missing text messages and emails. Like, go into your phone, change the settings for your Gmail account or whatever email landscape you're using, Yahoo, whatever, and make it so when they email you, it's a persistent notification on your phone that stays at the top until you clear it. Like, then you won't miss emails anymore. It's that simple. And then as far as phones, like, make sure that you change the settings on your phone. Like, so if somebody calls you and you miss it, like, it needs to make a persistent notification that doesn't go away until you clear it, that you missed a phone call. Like, these are simple things, and I can't believe that I have to put this in a video, but I'm not even going to go into how many times that it's just been a problem working with artists, and that'll quickly absolutely kill whether I'm willing to work with someone or not in the future. If you're asking someone to hire you for a show, take your any documents they're going to need to market you, put you on the flyer, and the other marketing materials, put those in the initial EPK. That way they don't have to reach out to you later and ask for that information to help put you in front of all the people that they're going to tell about the show. So what's the difference between a logo and on a JPEG file and a logo on a vector PNG file. This is fairly elementary, but most artists, independent musicians, don't have this under wraps. A vector file is a file that you can put that has like a clear background. Okay, so for instance, look at the logo on this shirt, right? This is We're Willie, and they're a band out of Colorado. So if I were to send, I could send two versions of this as a JPEG file, right? It would be the white lettering and the logo on top of a black background, or you could invert it and it could be the black lettering and logo on top of a white background. Let's cover some do nots. Okay. It can be daunting when somebody asks you how many people are going to come to the show if I hire you, to tell them a number that you consider low. Like, it could be hard if you know that you can probably only sell 20 tickets or get 20 friends and family to come to your show. If that's the case, or 50 or whatever you think is a low number, it can be, I understand the hesitation to want to tell somebody that, but here's the problem. You don't want to lie, because when that talent buyer makes a hiring decision with you and you give them an expectation that you can't actually meet, you're shooting yourself in the foot for future booking opportunities. So that's going to wrap it up. I hope this was really helpful. If you haven't made an account yet, go to mvrkmusic.com and register your free musicians EPK. That way you can start using that one link to share all of your social media and online presences, including your website, and it'll make your booking a lot easier. If you already have an account, show it to your friends, and we've got more videos, so keep checking them out. Let me know what you guys thought too. I'd be curious to know how we can make these videos better. Thank you.